Imagine standing at the edge of a brand new year. Your heart is full of hope. Your mind is racing with dreams. But deep down, there's that familiar fear. What if this year ends like the last one? What if nothing changes? You've been there before, starting with goals, big plans, maybe even a vision board. But then life happens. Distractions, delays, doubts. And soon, your dreams fade away like smoke in the wind. But what if I told you there's a way to break that cycle? A way to finally step into the version of you that you've always wanted to become? This isn't some motivational hype. It's a real system, a proven framework. And it's all inside Michael Hyatt's game-changing book, Your Best Year Ever. This isn't just about setting goals. It's about building the life you've been secretly craving and doing it step by step, without burning out or giving up. Michael Hyatt is not your typical productivity guru. He's a former CEO, a best-selling author, and someone who knows what it feels like to chase success while quietly losing joy. After years of corporate leadership and personal struggle, Michael realized that achievement without alignment leads to emptiness. So he built a new life, one where success and happiness walk side by side. With Your Best Year Ever, he shares the exact system he used to turn his life around, not just professionally, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. His work has helped millions reclaim their time, energy, and purpose. And now it's your turn. Picture this. It's the first day of January. You're sitting with your notebook, maybe a cup of coffee in hand. You scribble down your New Year's resolutions. Lose weight, earn more money, spend time with family. Feels good, right? But fast forward a few weeks. The gym shoes are gathering dust, the to-do list is full, and that fire inside, it's barely a flicker. Michael Hyatt opens Your Best Year Ever by showing us this exact trap. The goal-setting cycle we all know too well. He says the problem isn't our dreams or even our discipline. It's our mindset. Most of us carry hidden beliefs, what he calls limiting beliefs, that act like invisible chains. Maybe we believe we're too old to start something new, or that we don't deserve success, or that failure is proof we're not good enough. These beliefs live deep inside us, and until we face them, no goal-setting system will work. In fact, Hyatt says mindset is the first building block of a powerful life, because everything else rests on it. He shares how we can start spotting these toxic thoughts and replace them with liberating truths, beliefs that open up possibility instead of closing us down. And no, it's not about fake positivity. It's about telling yourself a more helpful story, one that gives you the courage to try again. Because the truth is, the biggest breakthrough often starts in the smallest corner of your mind. And when you change the way you think, you start to change the way you live. Once your mindset starts shifting, Michael Hyatt takes you into the second core idea, something he calls the life score. Now, think of your life like a wheel with different sections: health, relationships, work, finances, emotions, and spiritual connection. If one part of that wheel is flat, the ride gets bumpy. So before you can plan your best year, you need to honestly ask, how am I doing in each area of my life? Not to judge yourself, but to gain clarity. Hyatt uses a tool called the Life Score Assessment to help people rate each of these areas from 1 to 10. And here's the magic. Once you actually see which parts are thriving and which are suffering, your goals stop being random. They become personal, meaningful. Let's say you realize your career is strong, but your marriage is barely surviving. That awareness becomes your compass. Or maybe your finances are okay, but your health is slowly falling apart. These insights help you create goals that aren't just about achievement. They're about alignment. Hyatt teaches us that real success comes when your goals reflect your actual life, not someone else's idea of winning. And here's something emotional. Many people avoid this kind of check-in because they're scared of what they'll find. But Hyatt says facing the truth, even if it's painful, is the bravest first step toward change. Because when you know where you are, you can finally choose where to go. He compares it to a GPS. If you don't know your starting point, even the best directions are useless. This paragraph sets the stage for something powerful. We're no longer setting goals just for fun. We're doing it to rescue the parts of our life that are quietly calling for help. Now that you've discovered where you truly stand in your life, through clarity, honesty, and a brutally real self-assessment, it's time to ask a question most people avoid. What do you actually want? Not what your parents want, not what society expects, not even what your past self thought was a smart goal, but you, the real, breathing, feeling you, right now. Michael Hyatt says that the key to living your best year isn't just about setting goals, it's about setting the right goals. Most of us make two common mistakes. First, we dream too small. We set goals that are safe, convenient, and easy to explain to others. Second, we aim in the wrong direction. We chase goals that look good on paper but feel empty in our soul. Maybe it's a promotion that comes with more stress and less time with your kids, or a weight loss target that's driven by shame instead of self-love. Hyatt shows us that meaningful goals are born from desire, not duty. He introduces a powerful idea here: the power of why. Before writing down any goal, you ask, why does this matter to me? What will my life feel like when this becomes real? That emotional connection is what makes goals stick when motivation fades. He also breaks down the science of goal setting, especially the concept of the comfort zone, discomfort zone, and delusional zone. The comfort zone is too easy. The delusional zone is unrealistic. But the discomfort zone? That's where growth lives. That's where your best year hides, just beyond the edge of who you are today. Hyatt encourages you to write smarter goals. Yes, that's an upgrade from just SMART, where E and R stand for exciting and risky. Because goals that scare you a little and excite you a lot, those are the ones that change your life. He gives practical steps for choosing just a few big goals, instead of overwhelming yourself with a long wish list. And here's where it gets deeply personal. He reminds us that every goal carries a story. Maybe you want to heal a broken relationship. Maybe you want to write the book you've been hiding inside for years. Maybe you're just tired of feeling stuck, like life is happening to you instead of through you. Hyatt doesn't just tell you to dream big. He tells you to dream honestly. That's the first real step to owning your future. Now we arrive at the place where most people give up: execution. First comes the dream, then the goal is written down. But when real life begins, distractions, excuses, and unexpected problems blur that dream. Michael Hyatt says, a goal without a plan is just a wish. That's why he introduces a powerful tool in this chapter: the goal activation strategy. It's not enough to write down what you want. You have to build a system around it, a roadmap that makes success almost automatic. He breaks this process into tiny, manageable steps, so your goal stops feeling like a mountain and starts looking like a staircase. Hyatt says every goal should be divided into 3 major phases: beginning, middle, and end. And each phase should be broken into smaller action steps, trackable daily or weekly. These micro-commitments build momentum. When you take one small step each day, motivation naturally grows. You stop depending on mood and start building consistency. Hyatt strongly emphasizes the importance of tracking your progress. Why? Because the biggest enemy of progress is forgetfulness. When you don't track, you forget how far you've already come, and you feel like nothing is changing. But when you write it down, tick it off, or track it in a journal or app, every small win gives your brain a reward signal. This creates what Hyatt calls a success loop. You act, you see progress, you feel good, you act again. It becomes your inner fuel. Hyatt also introduces activation triggers: visual, physical, or digital reminders that keep your goals in front of you daily. For example, if your goal is fitness, lay out your gym clothes beside your bed. If your goal is writing, keep your laptop open where you'll see it first thing. These tiny cues can literally rewire your behavior. Hyatt says environment beats willpower every time. So instead of forcing yourself to remember your goals, design your surroundings to make action easy. And the most powerful part? He teaches you how to build rituals around your goals. A time, a place, and a rhythm that becomes sacred. It transforms effort into habit. And when something becomes a habit, it stops draining you. It starts driving you. Execution isn't about hustle. It's about rhythm. And your best year ever depends on the rhythms you build daily, not the resolutions you once scribbled and forgot. Now comes the real test. The part no one warns you about when you're fired up with fresh goals. Resistance. Michael Hyatt says it doesn't matter how motivated you feel at the beginning. Resistance will come. Every big dream invites fear. Every powerful goal wakes up your inner doubts. You'll start hearing that voice in your head whispering, "You've tried this before and failed." Or, "Who do you think you are?" That's not a sign something's wrong. It's a sign you're growing. Hyatt calls this the messy middle. It's the part of the journey where most people give up. You've started taking action, but the results haven't shown up yet. The excitement fades. Life gets hard. Old habits fight back. Suddenly, quitting feels easier than continuing. But here's Hyatt's secret. Success isn't about avoiding resistance. It's about preparing for it. He teaches you to build resilience like a muscle. First, by recognizing the lies your brain tells you. That inner critic? It's not your truth. It's just survival instinct trying to keep you safe. But safe is not where growth happens. Second, he encourages you to create if-then scenarios. This technique is simple but powerful. For every obstacle you expect, laziness, fear, distractions, you create a pre-decided response. For example, if I don't feel like going to the gym after work, then I'll do a 10-minute walk at home instead. These decisions made in advance save you in the moment. When chaos hits, it's hard to think clearly. But if you've already trained your brain to act, you don't hesitate. You just do it. Hyatt also highlights the importance of quick wins. During tough seasons, small victories are like oxygen. They keep your motivation alive. Maybe it's writing 100 words instead of 1,000, or eating one healthy meal instead of stressing over a perfect diet. Quick wins build momentum when nothing else seems to work. Another emotional truth Hyatt stresses is the power of grace. You will fail. You will miss days. You will fall short. And that's okay. The goal is not perfection. It's progress. He encourages you to forgive yourself quickly and get back on track fast. Most people throw away their whole year because of one bad week. Hyatt says, don't turn a setback into a story. Treat it like a speed bump. Pause, reflect, reset, keep moving. This transforms your identity from someone who always quits to someone who always returns. That is the heart of a breakthrough. You don't need to be superhuman. You just need to show up, even when it's messy. Especially when it's messy. Because the messy middle, that's where the magic happens, where the old you fades and the new you rises. By now, you've walked through the mindset shift, set clear goals, mapped out your action steps, and battled the messy middle. But there's one more ingredient that turns an average year into your best year ever. And it's something most people underestimate: community. Michael Hyatt makes this point loud and clear. You cannot transform your life in isolation. Willpower, systems, and motivation matter. But nothing is more powerful than people. Who you surround yourself with can either push you forward or quietly pull you back. Hyatt explains that all of us are influenced by the relational current. Just like a swimmer in the ocean, no matter how strong you are, the current you're in decides your direction. So if you're surrounded by people who settle, complain, and avoid growth, guess what? You'll do the same. But if you intentionally place yourself with people who dream big, act consistently, and value growth, your behavior will rise to match. That's why Hyatt encourages building a support system. This could be a coach, a mentor, a mastermind group, or even one trusted friend who keeps you accountable. He shares stories of people who had breakthroughs simply because someone asked, "Hey, did you follow through this week?" It's not about shame. It's about having someone who believes in your future and reminds you of it when you forget. Hyatt also points out a tough truth. Many people sabotage their goals because they're afraid of outgrowing their circle. Maybe your friends live in the past. Maybe your family sees your change as a threat. Hyatt doesn't sugarcoat it. Leveling up often means letting go. Not in anger, not in ego, but in love. He teaches how to set boundaries with those who drain you, and open space for those who lift you. And it's not just about support, it's about celebration. He says joy multiplies when shared. Your first book draft, first client, or first 5-kilo weight loss all become more powerful when someone says, "I'm proud of you." Hyatt recommends regular check-ins with your support system, monthly calls, weekly texts, or shared tracking sheets, anything to keep connection alive. The biggest emotional insight? When you walk alone, every failure feels like a verdict. When you walk with others, failure feels like a lesson. You realize you're not broken. You're becoming. If you want your best year ever, don't try to do it alone. Invite others in. Share your dreams. Let yourself be seen, supported, and stretched. Because transformation isn't a solo act. It's a team sport. And now, we reach the final piece of the puzzle, the heartbeat of your best year ever. After all the planning, execution, resilience, and support, Michael Hyatt brings us back to something deeply personal. Belief. Not just belief in the process, not just belief in the system, but belief in yourself. Everything you've done so far, identifying limiting beliefs, setting smarter goals, creating action plans, facing resistance, building support. None of it matters if you don't believe you're worthy of the life you're building. Hyatt says many people sabotage their progress because deep down, they still carry shame, regret, or fear from the past. Maybe you failed before. Maybe someone laughed at your dreams. Maybe you've been living small because it felt safe. But here's Hyatt's message. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not the old story. You are a becoming human being. And you're allowed to change. In fact, you were made to change. And your best year ever begins when you let go of who you think you're supposed to be and step boldly into who you're becoming. Hyatt encourages visualizing your future self, not as wishful thinking, but in a grounded, emotional way. Who is that person? How do they speak, decide, live? What do they tolerate? And what do they refuse? This future self becomes your North Star. Each day, as you take small steps, you feel alignment, actions, thoughts, and values pointing the same way. That quiet confidence that says, "I'm not there yet, but I'm on my way," that's true success. Hyatt also reminds us, your best year won't be perfect. You'll still face bad days. You'll still face failure. But now you'll face them differently. With grace instead of guilt. With curiosity instead of judgment. With courage instead of fear. Because now you're not living by default. You're living on purpose. And here's the most powerful part. When you start showing up for yourself this way, the world responds. Relationships shift. Opportunities come. Peace returns. Day by day, you become the person who doesn't just hope for a better life, but creates one. Hyatt leaves us with this truth. You already have everything you need to live your best year ever. The power is within you. The path is before you. And the time to begin is now.